camera, 2 executives, and 0 time to take it back. It was supposed to be just another night out. Music, lights, a packed stadium, Coldplay on stage. But in the middle of it all, a lens locked onto 2 faces in the crowd. Andy Byron wasn't a celebrity. Outside of the tech space, few people had ever heard of him. But inside the industry, he had a reputation. Smart, driven, a bit of a quiet operator.
In this space, New York Stock Exchange company like Salesforce, which is one of our largest investors, they just acquired Informatica for, roughly
Under his leadership, Astronomer had gone from a niche data platform to a major player in enterprise analytics. Kristen Cabot was one of his key hires. As Chief People Officer, she managed HR strategy, hiring, culture, and internal policy. She was well-liked and seen as instrumental in growing the company's internal infrastructure. They were both powerful. They worked closely. And that was all the internet needed. The moment captured on camera didn't show anything inappropriate. But that's the thing. Perception doesn't wait for proof. In the clip, they appeared comfortable, familiar. They looked, to many viewers, like more than colleagues. And it especially didn't help when Chris Martin from the stage made a lighthearted comment about the moment.
Oh, look at these two. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
That one remark, casual, unscripted, reframed the entire clip. Suddenly, people weren't just watching 2 executives in the crowd. They were watching a story unfold. By the next day, Astronomer's leadership was fielding calls. Employees had seen the clip. Investors were asking questions. Internally, some staff began questioning whether Byron and Cabot had crossed any lines, and within the week, both Byron and Cabot resigned. And then another question began circulating. Wasn't Andy Byron married? He was. Andy Byron married his wife Megan in 2010. Friends described their relationship as stable and private. In 2017, after selling his first startup, Byron bought a home in coastal Maine and became CEO of Astronomer. Megan stayed out of the spotlight, focusing on nonprofit work and raising their 2 children. And then, overnight, all of it was on fire. The concert clip triggered a wave of media attention. News sites started piecing together timelines. Reddit users pulled archived employee photos from internal company events. There was no proof of a relationship between Byron and Cabot. But the absence of denial only fueled the speculation. Megan, who had always avoided the spotlight, was suddenly everywhere. She deleted her social media. But it wasn't just Andy Byron who was in trouble. Kristen Cabot was also married when the concert video went viral. She had recently bought a house in New Hampshire with her husband, Andrew Cabot, who runs a well-known rum company. When the video came out, many people were shocked to learn that both Kristen and Andy had families. The news spread even faster.
Can you imagine getting busted at a Coldplay concert of all places? Frontman Chris Martin clocked that could maybe be the 2 of them having an affair.
Megan was spotted again, this time at a relative's home. Friends told reporters she had been blindsided by the situation. She hadn't known about the concert. She hadn't expected to see her husband's face trending online, seated next to another woman. Their moment of closeness turned into entertainment. And she wasn't just upset about the perception. She was humiliated by the public nature of it. There were rumors she'd moved in with her sister temporarily. Back at Astronomer, the fallout was immediate. Once it became clear that CEO Andy Byron and Chief People Officer Kristen Cabot were involved, the board launched an internal investigation. The focus wasn't on the concert itself, but on whether a romantic relationship existed, if it was disclosed, and whether it violated company policies. Astronomer requires executives to report any romantic involvement, especially within the chain of command. Rules Cabot was responsible for enforcing, and Byron was expected to model. Byron withdrew completely. He canceled a conference appearance, stopped posting on LinkedIn, and didn't return to the office. Insiders said he was devastated, not by the facts, but by how quickly the situation spiraled. There were reports he considered legal action against the concert venue or the band itself, arguing that being shown on a stadium-wide screen without his consent was a breach of privacy. But that went nowhere. He was in a public space, at a public event, surrounded by thousands of people. Legally, there was nothing to argue. His claim, according to sources close to the situation, centered around emotional distress and a potential violation of privacy. But legal experts quickly noted the claim would be nearly impossible to win. Byron had attended a public concert in a massive venue, surrounded by tens of thousands of people. Like most major events, the Coldplay show featured cameras roaming the audience, broadcasting faces and reactions to large stadium screens as part of the entertainment experience. These recordings are typically covered by venue policies, which grant organizers the right to film and publicly display attendees. When someone enters an event like this, they almost always agree, sometimes without realizing, to a broad terms of entry that includes consent to be photographed or filmed. This type of clause is standard, printed on ticketing platforms or signage at entrances. In legal terms, it means Byron had no reasonable expectation of privacy in that setting. Even more complicated is the nature of the viral moment itself. There was no explicit act captured, no misconduct, no verbal exchange, nothing objectively compromising. What made the video controversial wasn't what it showed, but how it was interpreted online. There was no kiss, no obvious misconduct, just a moment that looked too intimate between two married executives. But once it hit the internet, it exploded. The jokes, the memes, the commentary, they didn't stop. People didn't just share the clip, they recreated it. Not once, but millions of times.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
How dare you catch me cheating without my consent? I'm suing!
Both homes were torn apart. Andy and Megan, Kristen and Andrew. Two marriages imploded because of a few seconds on a concert screen. Claims of emotional distress were floated, but quickly dismissed. Byron had no legal ground. Courts consider whether harm was caused and if anyone acted with malicious intent. A concert camera capturing two people and a spontaneous joke didn't meet that standard. The legal footing was weak. Filing a lawsuit would have only fueled the fire. The real consequences were personal: Byron's resignation, public humiliation, and the collapse of two families. And while neither Byron nor Cabot has spoken publicly since, their silence didn't stop the noise. Megan, who wasn't even there, became the face of betrayal, a woman dragged into the public eye for something she didn't do. In the days after the scandal, Astronomer tried to steer the conversation by posting videos with titles like, "We have the answers." But instead of addressing the situation, the videos ended up promoting the company's data services, which many found tone-deaf. Still, what's surprising is that the controversy actually brought a surge of attention. The videos racked up millions of views, and traffic to the company's website spiked. Despite the negative press, Astronomer saw a boost in visibility.
Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Air.
And, according to some insiders, a rise in new business inquiries. The scandal may have damaged leadership, but ironically, it also made the brand more well-known than ever. But if they could go back to that night, sit in different seats, leave a little more space between them, skip the concert entirely, would they have done it all differently? Or did they think no one was watching? Because in today's world, one moment is all it takes.